Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel here on YouTube. My name is Bones of Life, hope you guys are healthy and well. Today we're playing some more Vampire Survivor clones, this one by the name of Halls of Torment. Fantastic little Vampire Survivor that I've been enjoying quite a bit. Great character selection. Right now I'm playing the Warlock, who kind of like sends out the souls of the damned to go attack and kill the skelly army that I'm dealing with right now. This is also like the base map. This is the starting map. There are, I think, there's some amount others though. There are many others, and there's a vault mode, which is basically they add agony, or you could think like heats from Hades, that sort of thing. So you add modifiers, and yeah, your game becomes a lot more hard, and you get more buffs and stuff for it. So it's a good time. You're gonna notice that this is
running slightly fast.
I am at like 1.5 times speed here because we've all seen a lot of Vampire Survivors. On my channel I've been putting a lot of this content up, so I figured I may well just like speed this one up a little bit just to you know, kind of keep the ball rolling. We know how the game plays out. But another big gimmick of the Halls of Torment side of things is you get armor and stuff that you get to equip, not unlike Death Must Die. But I glossed over that in my trying hard of Death Must Die because I forgot how lackluster the armor is in that game. Now in this one, it actually makes like a big difference. Like for example, there's a blessed ring that gives you 100% crit chance and 100% crit bonus on another ring. So it's like really substantial stuff that you can get. So I don't know. I felt the impact of it a lot more here than I did in Death Must Die. And the character variety is really up there. There are quite a bit of classes that you get to play as, and they have a nice changing of the way that they do things. Like for example, I think the cleric is one of the more interesting ones. The cleric has the ability to hit a huge AoE in front of them, and they do like it's like thousands of damage on one hit, like a huge bit of damage. But for every enemy in your cone, you're going to split that damage amongst all of the enemies that you touched. So it's pretty, I like that. That's cool. And then the Warlock here, obviously he shoots out kind of like Omega rays from Dark Side. They kind of just like track, and they'll hit anything. They hit up to like 2 times right now, but you can augment that, I think, to make it better, I think. So here's what I'm talking about. This is the equipment stuff. You get all of this. I'm still kind of early game here. I've got quite a few more hours now. I've been playing for a bit because it's a very enjoyable game. And I'm going with a build that's based around these warrior guys. You see those little arrows that are like attached to me, and those little warriors hitting things? They're going to be my main DPS, and I'm going to use them to basically kill things that are trailing me later in the build, and then I'll use my little ghosts to help augment them as well. Pardon me. So yeah, I was really just enjoying the heck out of these Vampire Survivor type games, and I still have a couple more I wanted to go into. There's one called Karate Survivor that's like a 1980s 90s karate action movie film thing. It looks so cool. I'm actually really stoked to try that one out. I'll probably do that soon. But I've also been playing a lot of other games that I got. I have a few more that should be coming within, oh yeah, on the next week, because I'm posting these 2 videos for this month, which hopefully I'll be able to up and do more. But I had a honeymoon, well, not a honeymoon, I had my anniversary with my girlfriend, which we're going to be celebrating on the 26th here, and then we also had my daughter's birthday and my girlfriend's birthday, which was in December and January, and then of course all of the holidays. So yeah, it's been really busy. Haven't been able to hike too much either, which is kind of making me sad, but you know, I'll get out there, I'll do it eventually. It's just going to take some time. It's getting cold out anyway, so it's kind of hard to hike at the times that I like to, which is like early morning, so I can get some of the wildlife as well. It's fun walking, trust me, but I enjoy seeing the wildlife too. This is one of those games you're going to notice where you get achievement pops like every 3 seconds because it wants to give you that dopamine hit. I freaking can't get enough of that stuff. I hate how much it gets me. In fact, it's one of the main reasons I kept playing this game for probably like 10 hours or something like that, because I wanted to get these achievements, the ones that were like the low-hanging fruit ones that I could get, like deal 5,000 damage with this item, or you know what I mean, or you know, upgrade this one 20 times, whatever. So this is how this game is going to play out. You're going to go around and you're going to be grabbing these things that are around the world. They're usually marked on your map by like a little icon. Like if you look on the left there, that little bucket. The bucket brings you to the well. You can bring up items that you found in the dungeon to be sold on the surface for you to use in future runs. So you have like a loadout that you're allowed to bring in to the game on top of your usual meta progression, you know, 10% extra damage for X amount of gold, You know, here's more regen, here's more life, and just incremental amounts of more gold that you can then respec at your liking. This specific little battle I got going on here, I have to hold these little circles and kill enemies within them, and then it's like a shrine, I think. Here's our first elite. These elites are really weird in this game. I don't really have a problem with like their attack patterns, but sometimes if your movement speed isn't up to snuff, then you will end up just literally getting run down. Like they will touch you to death. That sounds horrible. I know it is horrible. That's demons for you. But yeah, they literally just like stand on your character model and you can't move away from them. So I would recommend at least getting a little bit into your movement speed when you're doing the meta progression. In addition to the meta progression stuff, you can also buy like rerolls. You'll notice whenever I get a power up on the right there, that little bottle of wine is a reroll I've got from the surface. You buy them from a meta progression vendor that's up there, and you have them forever. But you lose that gold permanently, obviously. So there's a lot of uses for your gold here. It's pretty cool. Gives you a lot of build diversity and variety. It's one of those games where you can play it without even attacking with your character once and still win. One of those kind of things, a lot of different endings, a lot of different challenges to do. Like I think there's one, for example, with an archer, you know, known for being able to crit things. You have to not crit at all for like 20 minutes or something like that, some crazy number. And then of course your standard like don't move for the entire game and still win. So yeah, I've been enjoying it. I really like it. I do think that it is a little bit slow paced sometimes because they do make you do 30-minute runs. Once I unlocked the vault and I was able to do agony runs, which is like heat runs, there's one that minuses the time by 10 minutes. I've been doing that one basically every single time because 30 minutes is a huge time commitment for me to do all at once. You know what I mean? Even 20 is kind of already asking a lot, hence why I've been doing a couple of other games that don't demand so much of me. Of course you can pause it midway through, but it's one of those weird games where you don't want to lose momentum. It's kind of like The Binding of Isaac in that way, where I kind of would rather just go all through in one go than have to keep getting up and splitting it apart and then kind of messing with my momentum and knowledge of what my build is. Because you know, it's like one of those games you got to remember what you're building, or else you're going to end up with failures. You know what I mean? It's like you can't just do the same thing you do with every build. You do got to think differently. Like I think one that I have here is called Transfixion, I want to say, and it's those like arrows you're seeing shoot out of me, those like 4 arrows shooting forward. They only go in the forward facing direction, and I'm aiming my weapon as well. You can auto aim. I have it on auto attack, but you can also auto aim, but I find that to be extremely ineffective because I always in this game I'm finding myself having to basically break a wall. Like break a hole in a wall so I can sneak through the hole. Like that seems to happen more in this game than pretty much any other scenario. Like I'm not having to like slay the entire horde in front of me because an entire screen has converged. You know, like it's pretty rare. You're basically just going after trying to make a hole. This is kind of like repetitively what I've been able to get success out of. Another thing is not getting too hooked on those items that you see around the map. Like don't like tunnel vision to them. I think it's better to kite and do a lot of slow moving around because eventually you'll get up to it anyway. And when the final boss spawns, as you'll see at the end here, he's going to also eliminate all of the mobs that are there. So he'll kind of like do like a flourish, like he'll charge in and kill everything, and then you can get hurt by that attack too. So it's pretty cool. Pretty dang cool. I like the Warlock a lot. There's another one called the Exterminator. Exterminator is probably my favorite. He's like a flamethrower wielding I guess like a Plague Doctor kind of vibe guy, like burn it all with fire. I love that so much. I'm always a fire guy. I don't know why. I love pyromaniac type characters. There's something about it. Something about the tick damage that just makes me feel so good. Like when I was playing Killing Floor 2, I was definitely a pyro main. I loved it so much. And I have never played, I know it's more Blasphemy. I've been putting a lot of Blasphemy on this channel lately, but I've never played Team Fortress 2. I really should because I know there's pyro in there too. I bet that'd be a lot of fun. But, I mean, in 2025, you guys tell me, is it still an amazing game? I'm sure it is, but, you know, just like Left 4 Dead, I don't think Left 4 Dead will ever run out of what it does, the magic that it brings to gaming. So, will this game do that? I don't think it'll stand in the same court as Vampire Survivors did. I mean, it's basically, if you're tired of the aesthetic of Vampire Survivors and you no longer want to look at the vampire or, you know, Among Us, whatever they've got going on. This is more for, like, your low to high fantasy crowd, the ones that are going to want the diving through heaven and hell, It's got that Diablo aesthetic in a big way. So if you're like into the old school Diablos, like I was actually brought into the series on Diablo 2 when I first got my first ever PC to game with, and that was awesome. I haven't played any of the new Diablos. In fact, I'm more interested in playing the Path of Exile because I never played 1, and Path of Exile 2 is going to be dropping pretty soon. So maybe some content on that coming up. I don't know how much of like a recording streaming type of game that is, but we will see when the time comes. So excited for our trip on the 26th. We're going up to take a little trip into a cabin, and we're going to go snowboarding for the weekend. Well, for one of the days of the weekend, because we're going to be with our kids the other one. And we're going to let Grandma and Grandpa take care of them while we do some snowboarding. I'm not much of a trickster kind of guy, but I do love to pick up some speed and velocity. I like to I'm basically big on balance and trying to get myself down quickly. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more of a speed guy than I am doing tricks or gaining air. Because I don't know, I'm just not coordinated in that way. I can keep myself balanced on like really fast slopes or like hitting curves and like knowing how to turn my body in that way. But when it comes to like being mid-air, I just feel like a fish out of water. Maybe someone else out there understands what I'm saying, but it's just something about the air makes me feel like I just am completely uncoordinated. You know, I could do like bars and stuff, like grinding the snow bars and stuff. They're fine because I don't have to leave the ground. But once I lose that sense of being grounded, I wonder if this is a normal phenomenon for people who are into these kind of sports. But it basically just it takes me off my equilibrium. I can't really sense where I am super great, and so when I land, I don't balance it right. Like, I know you're kind of supposed to step into it. So anyway, I stick to the speedy stuff, and my girlfriend just happens to like to ride a snowboard down a mountain, which is awesome. One day I'll do surfing, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I love the water, don't get me wrong, but something more exciting to me about the snow. The water is just like too, I guess, mysterious. Am I scared of sharks and stuff? Maybe like subconsciously, possibly. But I don't know. Just I guess the snow just seems more like cool. Yeah, I've never really had a fear of heights either. That could also be adding into it. Okay, that's not true. I did have a minor fear of heights, and when I get super, like, really, really up to a high spot, then that is... I mean, but I think that's normal. Like, if I was at a place where I'm going to fall off a railing and die, I feel a little bit of unease, but I feel like anyone and everyone in the world, whether you have a fear or not, understands, like, that's just, like, fight or flight, right? That's, like, a level of anxiety, where it's just, like, I need to pay attention or else I will not make it. So good old magnet here. It's a hand in this one. I like that. It's a little hand. Gives you all the stuff on the map. So here comes all my monies. I love it. This game is one of those where, yeah, after you hit that magnet, bro, oh my gosh. Because they always wait till like near the end. They give you like 7 level ups. So these are all here. All the ones that have that little asterisk on the top left, but not a little chest, means I have not sent that back up to the surface. So right now I'm debating, do I want to pick one of these to switch out and put on my hands, or do I want to take one that I could send up towards the surface? So I decided that I'm just going to go ahead and grab the experience because of how far in I am right now. And that's the way I'm going to go about it. Because I don't know, was I too far from the well? I'm not super far, but maybe I just didn't want to fight it. I think it's because of how low my health is. I'm trying to basically create like a safety sack with the dragon's breath that you guys might flame strike. Sorry, you might not even notice. It's that flame wave shooting out of me. It lingers and hits enemies multiple times. So I'm using that as basically like a squeegee for that side of the enemies, just to go ahead and wipe them all right off my plate, so I don't gotta worry about it. So the game is going to last you 30 minutes in the default mode, which I believe I'm in right now, and 30 minutes is going to lead you to the boss, I believe, after the 30-minute mark. Gosh, do I just not know super well. I'm going to be honest with you. But, yeah, it'll summon a boss, and you'll fight that boss one-on-one. They do have, like, ads that they spawn sometimes and things like that, but it is an arena versus you and the boss, and they don't limit you. You could still move around the map entirely freely how you can now. So it's good. It's a nice little touch-up on the system. The mini enemies that are being spawned around, the little elites, are basically pushovers. I mean, they're pretty mooky. It's alright. I feel like this is one of those games, though, where you're more set to being the overpowered power fantasy vibe. Like more so than even in Vampire Survivors. I feel like you're really set to be strong in this. But yeah, I'm getting really low here. There is a set of revives. I don't know if I have them in this iteration of when I recorded this, but I think it's 2 revives you get, and you can unlock them for X amount of gold or whatever. Obviously, those are the first things you're going to want to get, because every win you get is more gold that you get, is more stuff that you get, is more powerful. So yeah, Warlock's up there. I think he's one of the tougher guys. His ability is just insane. I love that it sends it through enemies and hits multiples and pierces. It's just really good. So no, the slime, man. There's the well. I'll just run it back to the well to send something up. We'll go ahead and get the renewal bottle up there, and this other bottle. You get sometimes multiples, sometimes you don't. So we got all that up. I think honestly my favorite ability though is, you see that circle around me? It's like an aura. And it has, so all of them level up in different ways, right? You can augment them to go a different direction. And you can either make this one like really big and it does like tick damage over time, like Garlic from Vampire Survivors. Or you can do what I'm doing, where instead of doing ticks like quickly, it ticks incredibly slow in a short radius, but like literally like absolves them, dude. Like removes their body and their soul, like just completely destroys them in huge chunks of damage. The augment's insane. It's like straight up like 400 or 500 base damage, and then you can add by 40-50% with other augments. So I love that kind of stuff. I'm way into numbers go up, and this is a game all about, hey, you like 5%? Here's 5.5. You got another skill over there? Oh, here's another 5% for that. So now you got 10% on it. It's like one of those type of games where you're constantly like in your head, okay, I've got 65% crit chance, and now I've got 54% crit bonus damage. Now all I got it, you know what I'm saying? I love that. I think it's such a good, I don't know, mental itch. That's the vibe that I'm getting. It really scratches my brain to be like, okay, so 700 damage, 10% more of that is 770 damage. It's like, yes, me, I'm smart. Me, I'm no longer caveman. Alright, this is where it all gets real, though. So I told you at the beginning that I was basically building around these little men's here, and their whole thing is they attack in an area. Then when I move away, they dash towards me. So I needed a way to be able to basically kill everything else when they're dashing to me, because I was losing. And it was either an AoE when they come to me, it'll explode around me and kill enemies, or the orbs. So I went with the orbs. Why? Because the orbs stay out even when they're dashing to me. So when they're way back in the distance over there, those orbs are knocking enemies around, damaging them, and then they're dashing back to me, hitting the enemies again, and the orbs are once again hitting them. So it's basically like a chipper shredder. The only thing I have to keep an eye on is making sure that I don't get locked off. So this is the wall strategy I was telling you about. I just have to find a hole, a gaping hole in every little onslaught that hits me, and I'll be fine. Because my warriors now can kind of like finish everything off. So, moving on to the slimes, whatever. These are cool, I guess, because they break into smaller enemies, but what I don't like about them is that you can't instantly kill the small enemies. So if I have like a nuke type ability, it doesn't matter. I'll nuke a group of these slimes, and I'll still have to wait a second for their invulnerability before I can kill the ones that they spawn, right? And I don't necessarily like that, because it took away from the Radiant Aura thing that I was telling you, the slow tick, huge damage. Basically negates it entirely, because I kill them from a distance, and then by the time I run up there, my tick has already gone off, so I'm taking a hit from these slimes. So that's why you're seeing me take a lot of damage here, and I'm having to like path through these stupid slimes. If it was just these doggos, I'd be a-okay. But I'm going up here. This is the magnet item, so I'm going to go ahead and get all of my level ups at once. You can look forward to, in a 30-minute run, I've capped out at like, gosh, level, and I wasn't even aiming for the levels, probably like 81 to... 81 is one in recent memory. I know that I've probably gotten higher than that, though. So yeah, look forward to a lot of level ups in this game as well. I'm trying to think now. I'm gonna really aim for downsides and things that bother me about the game. Like I'm actively gonna try and think of anything that really got me.
Flow through you.
I think the meta game up top is very grindy. You do need quite a bit of resources to get the meta progression, as well as the items that you send up from the well. So just by sending them up, you're not actually getting those items. You have to still buy them to be able to use them, which is fine, but I think that the price should be I don't know, discounted per in between runs, or like, you know, this will go on sale if you do this objective, like, you know, something to make it a little more interesting than just throw my meta progression money at something that I was just using last run because it's essential for me to use this build again. That would be a small gripe to me. What else would I be thinking about? I'm really hunting here. I have a hard time thinking of much. Like, there's not really a lot of gore. Look at, even at this sped up tempo that you guys are seeing right now, it's all controlled. It's a lot of chaos on screen, but we all understand what I'm doing. I'm using my warriors to try and kite them in a circle, and I'm damaging the main body of the group. And then as they start spilling in, I'm going in a circle and adding the new ones to the group, you know? So, yeah, I mean, other than, I guess, that upgrading system, I really don't have much bad things to say about the game, which is a good thing. I look for games like that. If I have a lot of bad things to say about a game, unless it costs me a lot of money and I feel the need to, like, say something about it, I usually won't cover a game that's super not for me. You know what I mean? I don't see a reason in that. Unless I feel like it's obviously overpriced or something in that nature, and I feel like people need to know, like, hey, you shouldn't, or this is something to be cautious of. So Untitled Torment was an easy purchase for me, and, you know, just like every game I've been playing so far, Vampire Survivors, and clone-wise, you know, they've all just been fantastic, because the nice thing about this is you understand that it's a minimal effort rehashing of this genre that was really popular before. So you're second revive, not good. This is a bad space to be. I don't want to be swarmed like this at all. I need to use those flame waves in order to keep myself alive. But yeah, anyway, as long as you understand that's a rehashing of, and these are just upgraded versions of the items that I already have, just to be clear, you have to equip them. These can't be sent up either. You do have to go get them in game and only use them for that game. So anyway, as long as you understand that this is basically a way of taking another game's genre and putting your favorite skin on it. You know what I'm saying? It's great, and I think this does a fantastic job of giving you hit feedback when you take damage, showing you where the damage is you're putting out on the screen. Numbers go up is fantastic. The items that you're picking up from equipment are, like, hugely impactful. Like, not just kind of useful, but, like, you can hinge your entire strategy on one item type powerful, which is, I think, so important for a game like this. Another gripe I should say that is the 30-minute timelines. I will say that I don't think 30 minutes being forced into a game is a fantastic amount of time, and you should be able to shorten that time. For example, like the vault going down 10 minutes and having 20-minute runs is fantastic, but an even higher intensity 15-minute run where maybe I start with an item or something along those lines would be suited to someone like me as well. And maybe I just haven't unlocked it. You know, I'm maybe like 10 hours, 20 hours into the game at this point, after the point of this recording. But to be said that it's not, like, easily accessible right up at the front, you know, that is something that could be thought of. And one of my favorite games I've been playing a lot, Barony, actually just recently had this addition put into their game as well, where you can give yourself assists at the beginning of a game in order to shorten your runs, or basically give you a head start. And they still make it legal for you to get items achievements and things along that line, as long as you don't use too many of these basically point buy items that buff you. So anyway, outside of that, yeah, it's just been a really good time. Look at my freaking warriors go. I think my warriors end up doing an insane several million damage during this crazy time. And then the Meteor Strike was my backup MVP at the end there. But number one in this build that is like the hidden hero that doesn't show up right in your face is the Dragon's Breath, was actually burning people out to death. So good. And yeah, so we got like the last 2.5 minutes here. Just going ahead and leveling up in the last few abilities that I've got. Another magnet, just getting so lucky with these magnets, man. They help so dang much to get those level ups that you missed when you're kind of kiting around, especially in a build like I'm doing where I'm kind of making giant circles around the map to move forward. But there's nothing else of interest on the map, so I kind of just end up hanging out in this spot for now. Looking good so far. I mean, there's not really much else left. These big old doggos ain't a problem for me. I'll be able to shred through them, but you see what I mean by that hole in the wall strategy? Like, all you gotta do is kind of like find the little gap to walk through, and that's the way to beat this game. And I found that to be true in every class that I've played so far. Well, the weird thing was, like, I played the Shield Maiden. She's like very shieldy, defensey, you might imagine. And she even had like a more interesting ability where she could just kind of walk through a wall and take the hits. And then if you had enough regeneration, and there's like base blocking versus base defense, it's weird. So there's like a mitigation effect versus a what's it called, a cancellation effect, almost like an invasion kind of vibe. So anyway, that was working out well, but with him, yeah, I needed to pierce the veil. Ooh, good van. Look at that one. That one came out of nowhere. Name drop. So we ended up getting up to level 87 there. See, I was saying 81 earlier. I knew I got to a higher level, and it was literally this run. But it gets insane, man. I'm on my last life here, 650 health. It does get intense. 30 minutes have passed, and I'll tell you, when I was playing this, it felt like maybe 10. I was really, really enjoying myself. But you do want to put aside that time. I don't know that you can save your runs in here. I don't actually remember. But I have not stopped a run. I just kind of went all the way through. So I would just be ready for 30-minute runs is kind of what my point, my gist here. And then this is how the boss kind of enters in with a little flourish. And pretty intense little bosses. I like how they're always on you. Like they're very like in your face when they get to these the second phase and stuff. They dash all up in your grill. You're actually like juking left and right really quickly. So I think the ads could probably be a little bit more. They're pretty weak considering all of my augmented abilities and things are shooting off in pretty much every direction now. It's not really a big deal. So this one turns into a Skelly Man after you kill his demon form. And the Skelly Man has a lot more AoE area denial type stuff, which I'm failing to dodge, but my regen is so insane that I don't think it really matters. And so I give him some of the souls that he's trying to give me and let him have a taste of it. And yeah, that's Agony 5 or 6, 4? 4. I can read Roman numerals. And yeah, so we beat him and we get Hastening Sands. This was the artifact I was actually telling you about that you use in the vaults that will make your games 10 minutes shorter. So anyway, that will be all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.